This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Well, here we are at 12:12 this morning. About 10 hours ago, Donald Trump took the stage in Grand Rapids, Michigan, to, of course, Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA. It was the final rally for Donald J. Trump. After 9 years of Trump on center stage, this was it. This was the last time you will see a Trump rally, and hopefully it'll be the last time that he will make the affirmative case for him against Kamala Harris, and people will wake up and wait in line and go to the polls and vote to save this country. I know we've lived through this madness for years now. Trump started this campaign on November 15th, 2022. He is a few days away from 2 years of campaigning to return to the White House. His opponent, meanwhile, has been in the race for 100 days. She's been hiding for most of it. She can't make the case for her without talking about him. Nobody who is voting for her can make an affirmative case for her. Their case is Trump bad, Trump's rude, Trump's vulgar, Trump's crazy, Trump's going to put his enemies in prison. They have done nothing over the last 100 days but lie. Trump is going to impose a national abortion ban. Trump's going to follow Project 2025. Trump's going to use the military to imprison his enemies. Just one lie after another. And I have to say, it has worked. There are people, 70, 75 million people, who are heading to the polls or have already voted, and they're voting for the worst candidate, the worst presidential candidate in American history. You do not believe she can do this job. You do not believe she's fit for this office. You just don't. You don't hear her speak and say, yes, that person can be president. Yes, she is ready to do the job. She received no votes. She won no delegates. Nobody thought she was a good vice president. Nobody 5 years ago thought she would make a good president. They just can't stand him because he's not a threat to democracy. He's a threat to bureaucracy. He's a threat to the establishment. He's a threat to the state, to the powers that be, which is why we have to, one last time, get behind him and support him and vote for him. It's not that hard to figure out. He was president already. He had 4 years. It went pretty well. He has shown that he can do the job. She has shown time and time again that she cannot. The Democrats' closing message over the last couple of weeks has been vote for your daughters. Women, lie to your husbands. Men, lie to your friends. Go in the booth and vote for her to protect your daughters. I don't know. You know what? I think that's what you should do. I think every man should go in the booth and protect our daughters. Protect Laken Riley. Protect Rachel Marin. Protect Jocelyn Nungareed. Protect that 7-year-old girl on Nantucket who was raped this summer repeatedly by an illegal alien, and she was sent to the hospital. The person who raped her would not have been in this country if Kamala Harris hadn't opened our borders. I don't get it. How do you look at what she has done for 3.5 years and say, yes, we need 4 more years of that. We need 20 million more illegal aliens. We need more women like Laken Riley or Rachel Marin who were out for a jog in their hometowns and they were attacked, raped, and murdered. Their daughters. Rachel Marin's was a mother of 5. Laken Riley was a daughter. Jocelyn Nungareed was a daughter. She was 12 years old. 2 illegal aliens from Venezuela raped, tortured, murdered her and threw her in a little stream to die. Jocelyn Nungree would be alive today if Kamala Harris hadn't opened the borders. How is that not disqualifying? Can someone explain to me how letting 20 million illegal aliens just decimate towns and cities across the country, costing taxpayers $150 billion? How is that not disqualifying? How can you look at that honestly and say, we need 4 more years of that? Because Trump, I don't know, made a joke about Arnold Palmer's penis. That's important to you. But Jocelyn Nungree, the 7-year-old girl on Nantucket, they're not important to you. They're not daughters who must be protected. This is insane. What we're living through right now. We're living through a person who has accomplished nothing, who has shown in no way she's qualified to be president. And already probably 35 million people have voted for her, have voted for 4 more years of this madness. You know what you voted for? If you voted for Kamala Harris, you voted for unchecked illegal immigration that will continue for 4 more years. You voted for boys in the girls' locker room. Wouldn't you want to protect your daughter from a boy invading her space, from beating her in sports, from beating her on the playing field or in the pool? You're voting for more war. You're voting probably to send your sons and daughters to war. One candidate is anti-war. One candidate is pro-war. It's the Democrat who supports these pointless foreign wars. It's the Democrat who will keep the money flowing to Ukraine for this unwinnable war, which will escalate if she is elected. You're voting for just unchecked spending. I just looked this up. I thought I had it wrong. In 2019, the federal budget was $4 billion. Now it's $7 billion. She and Joe Biden have increased federal spending by whatever that is, 75%. You think that ends anytime soon? You're voting to just squander billions of dollars on ridiculous things like DEI in the military. You're voting for some form of the Green New Deal. She wasn't just a supporter. She was a sponsor of the Green New Deal. You're voting for more, lots more of this climate change madness. You're voting for tax hikes, by the way. You're voting to increase your taxes. She will let the Trump tax cuts expire. Taxes will go up on every American. She isn't smart enough to do anything but what her handlers, what the powers behind the throne tell her to do. You're voting for 4 more years of Barack Obama and others who are behind the throne, who are pulling the strings on this empty vessel. You're voting for 4 more years of what we just lived through for 4 more years. A regime, administration that kicked 7,000 people out of the military for not getting this useless vaccine. That's what you're voting for. You're not protecting your daughters. Is that really the message? That if you vote for Donald Trump, you won't protect your daughters? Tell that to Patty Marin. Yesterday, there were guest speakers at the various rallies. Trump was in 3 states, 4 rallies. Kamala Harris spent her whole day in Pennsylvania because she must win Pennsylvania. That's it. She loses Pennsylvania, she's done. Kamala Harris had Katy Perry. She had, she had Ricky Martin. I didn't even know he was still alive. She had Lady Gaga. Donald Trump had Patty Marin, this woman whose daughter, Rachel Marin, was raped and murdered by an illegal alien in Maryland. Patty Marin takes the stage and says, We must vote Trump to protect our women, to protect our daughters, our mothers. Oh, but maybe if you vote Trump, maybe your daughter will give you a granddaughter. So vote for Kamala, so she won't have any grandchildren. So she had the rights to abort your grandchildren. Trump, on the other hand, vote Trump and stop the invasion. Stop this madness of illegal aliens invading your cities, your towns, costing you billions, killing women, children, drugs, crime. You want 4 more years of that? Let's watch Patty Marin make an appearance with Trump and listen to this woman. You're voting against her. You're voting for more Rachel Marins, more Jocelyn Nungries. You think Kamala Harris is going to stop illegal aliens from entering this country? What evidence? She's lied to you for, I don't know, 3 months. Says she's going to be tough on the border. No, she's not. It was just a stunt during a campaign season. We're going to go right back to what we saw for the first 3.5 years of this administration. You want that? You support that? You want an open border? You want them to change this country forever? Here is a guest speaker at a Trump rally yesterday, the heartbroken mother of Rachel Marin. Go ahead.
Thank you. Rachel, if you knew Rachel, everybody in our town knew Rachel. They loved her. She was a tiny little spitfire. She was like 5 feet, 5'2". She loved her children. She was very dedicated to them. She was a small businesswoman. She worked very hard to support her children. She was physically active. She took very good care of herself. And after she passed away, we did a walk in our town. And we had over 2,000 people come out to the walk. And of the people that came out to the walk, they said to me, I didn't know her personally, but we bought coffee at the same place. And she always said hi, and she always had a smile. I had on the walk people that had immigrated into this country. And one of them that really touched my heart was a tiny little Cuban lady. She had left her country and had come here for safety reasons. She had just had 2 knee replacements, and her daughter knew my daughter, but her daughter had to work that day. So this lady with the 2 little knee replacements walked the trail for her daughter because her daughter was so impressed and so moved by Rachel. And this woman, at the end of the walk, wanted to take a picture with me and offered me $1, because that's what she had in her pocket, to help towards expenses for my daughter. I told her to take the money and take her daughter out to lunch and give her a hug.
All right. At the same time, at a Kamala Harris rally, Oprah was speaking. Oprah, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry. Do they care? Do any of them even know who Rachel Marin is, or Laken Riley? Do they care about these women who would be alive today if the Democrats, if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris hadn't opened the borders with the plan, with the hope that the monsters that committed these crimes were going to vote for them? That right there it should be enough for every American, every decent American, to say, we can't do this. This is so cynical, so sinister what they have done, allowing illegal aliens, unchecked, gang members, murderers. Yes, Trump is right. Prisoners, really, really bad people, to come into our country, to walk into our country, unvaxxed, by the way, come into our country and do this to American women, American girls. You want to continue that? You want more of that? This is madness, what we're living through right now, and we can fix it. Trump is right. She broke it. He can fix it. It doesn't take magic. He can do it on day one, like he did last time. Change the immigration policy on day one, close the border, stop the madness, protect our daughters. So Oprah takes the stage and continues the theme of the Kamala Harris campaign, which is just lie. That's all. Just lie. She tells us, I know these people are stupid. I know they're dummies. Her fans are they're morons. She tells them, if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, you may never get to vote again. Watch this.
Sit this one out. We don't get to sit this one out. If we don't show up tomorrow, it is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again.
What? Okay, Oprah, question. Explain that to us. You will never get to cast a ballot again? What does that even mean? That women won't get to vote? Donald Trump was president for 4 years. All the things they're accusing him of, all of them, didn't happen. He didn't imprison his political opponents. He didn't tear the Constitution up, terminate the Constitution. He didn't stop women from voting. That is remarkable that she says that with a straight face. Who listens to this person? She is a billionaire. She's not any threat. She's not going to get murdered by an illegal alien. She doesn't care that grocery prices are up 20%, housing prices are up 50%. She doesn't care about an open border, crime in the streets, gangs taking over apartment complexes. That doesn't matter to her or to Katy Perry or to Ricky Martin or Bruce Springsteen or Beyonce. They're not affected by any policy enacted by the biased Biden-Harris administration. That is a lie. And apparently, they believe it. They cheer. Yeah, we better vote. If we don't vote for Kamala, we may never vote again. Once again, projection. That's what it is. You know why? Because if you vote for Kamala, it won't be the last election. There'll be another election. But the Democrats will continue this strategy, continue this effort to change the country forever. You see states like Georgia in play, North Carolina, Arizona. They weren't in play, 20 years ago. Texas is competitive. Ted Cruz is in the race of his life. That is because of illegal immigration. That's the plan. They can't deny it. Their plan is to turn red states blue, not by convincing voters that that their policies are the right ones and you should vote for them. Their plan is to change the demographic. Yes, their plan is to put enough new voters, newcomers into these red areas and change the electorate, change the map forever. Look how difficult it is. The fact that they have a completely unqualified person, unfit person on the ballot, and it's tied in the polls is frightening to any decent American. Look at this. You have a chance, they have a chance of winning the White House with a person who didn't get any votes, who polled at 1% when she ran on her own, who is an absolute radical, a San Francisco liberal, whose policies are way outside the mainstream. Most Americans do not believe we should provide sex change surgeries for prisoners or illegal aliens. Most Americans don't believe we should have a wide open border. They don't believe we should spend $150 billion a year on illegal aliens, on hotels and phones and food and money to illegal aliens. That is not a popular view, but it's her view. And she is tied right now on election day. There's a chance she could win. And if she wins, the effort will continue. They will continue to try to change Ohio and Texas and Arizona and turn them blue. So even if they run someone who is a complete radical, a complete left-wing lunatic, they could still win. That's the plan. And people are going to the polls and voting for that because their daughters don't have a right to an abortion, which they do, by the way. All Trump did was, all the Supreme Court did was turn abortion over to the states, to the voters, to the people. And that is why people are voting for her. Elon Musk, who is the greatest surrogate any candidate has ever had. Elon, if nothing else convinces you, consider Musk in the role of cost cutter, of the guy somehow involved in trimming the fat of cutting that $7 billion that we're spending on the federal government now. Musk in that role, the thought, the idea of Musk having a role in that should convince everybody. He's a businessman. He's a brilliant man. He's the smartest man. He's the richest man. And he volunteers to help reform our federal government. You don't want that? You don't like that idea? Why? Why? Because Orange Man? That's all? Because Orange Man said some rude things, some vulgar things? Think. Musk went on with Rogan yesterday. And he knows, man, he knows. He knows what the plan is. He knows just how diabolical the Democrats' plan is. And he looks in the camera and explains why this could be it's not the last election, but it's the last election that's even remotely fair and on the level. If they win and 20 million more illegal aliens come in, you think Republicans have a chance in 2028? You think they won't turn all these battleground states blue, whether the people like it or not? The new voters, they're their voters. That is the plan. Listen to the smartest man in the world explain.
Well, I'll say it again, man. I think this is the last election. If Trump doesn't win, this is the last election.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And I think people, and a lot of people are waking up and realize that have been lifelong Democrats. Guys like Bill Ackman, guys like Chamath,
Yeah, exactly.
Tulsi Gabbard switched over to the Republicans. Like there's a lot of people who their whole life they've been left wing and they realize like, I can't do this anymore.
You and I used to be Democrats.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It's nuts, man. And if the Dems win this election, they will legalize enough illegals to turn the swing states, and everywhere will be like California. There will be no escape.
That is so insane.
This is the final. This is it. This is the last chance.
Has anybody tried
and
to
I
push
just want to
back?
Go out and vote. Vote like your life depends on it. Vote like your future depends on it, because it does. This is the last chance, man.
He's so right. He is so right. There'll be other elections. They will not be competitive. They made a conscious decision, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, that our policies aren't popular with average Americans. We must change the electorate. And that's what they're doing. That's what they have done already. And they will continue it. It won't stop. Day one, they will open the border again. They will decimate places like Springfield, Ohio, and Aurora, Colorado. They will change the electorate, and they will be very, very tough to beat. Elon Musk was a Democrat. He voted for Barack Obama. Joe Rogan voted for he supported Bernie Sanders. Tulsi Gabbard supported Bernie Sanders. But these are smart people. They're awake. They're paying attention. They can see what's happening to our country, and they're just mortified. What will happen in the next 4 years with this empty vessel controlled by people, just sinister people like Barack Obama, behind the scenes, changing this country so that they will never, ever lose another election? It is a scary day. It's a big day. It's our last chance. It really is. This is our last chance to stop the madness. If you haven't voted, you must vote. You got to get in line. You got to stay in line. It's our only shot. All right. We got so much to get to on this day, November 5th. It is finally here, 2 years after Donald Trump declared his candidacy to return to the White House. It is finally here. And I don't want to say it looks good. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to expect the worst, hope for the best right now. If they win, it will be a very, very sad day in this country. Joe Rogan, as you just saw, even Joe Rogan, who held out for a long time, finally admitted we must vote Trump. Yes, Joe Rogan endorsed Trump. Glorilla endorsed Kamala Harris. If you're into endorsements, there's your Joe Rogan is a Trump guy. Glorilla is making the case for Kamala Harris. We got to get to that. Oh, Kamala was door knocking in Pennsylvania on the final day of the campaign. She was once again showing what a phony, what a fake, what a fraud she is. We will get to that. And Kamala Harris will try to shut down X. She will try to stop Musk. That is part of the plan. Censorship is on the ballot. The party of censorship, which is in the White House right now, will continue their effort to shut down speech, to shut down the opposition. One more reason to get out and vote. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
Do you wake up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, or ringing in your ears from grinding and clenching your teeth at night? I've been through this. It's fairly common, and dentists charge $600 for a bruxism night guard. Many people are now discovering the Brux Night Guard. Unlike regular night guards that go all the way to the back of the teeth, Brux Night Guard only covers the front teeth. This unique design is what sets Brux Night Guard apart from all other guards. It only covers the front teeth, so the bite force is directed away from the back, where many people grind and clench to help reduce jaw pain and still protect the teeth. You mold it at home to the top and bottom teeth. And unlike other guards, it is made in America and uses two materials for added durability. Order a Brux Night Guard today and use the code MAX22 to get 10% off plus free shipping. Go to bruxnightguard.com and enter the code word MAX22. All right, there's lots of reasons to be optimistic. Big early turnout for Republicans, big turnout in Pennsylvania. The urban areas are down, rural areas are up, but I can't get past it. The Democrats will stop at nothing. Trump is evil. Trump is Hitler. So anything they can do to stop Trump, cheat, lie, whatever, they will do. So I can't relax. I'm not ready, certainly not ready to celebrate. This is a scary time. They will do whatever they can to stop the fascist, the Nazi, the dictator, Donald Trump. They will continue to lie about him and say he's going to imprison his enemies and shut down CBS and lock up Al Sharpton and Rachel Maddow. In other words, they're telling you he will do what they have done. He will use the Department of Justice to go after his political enemies. He'll put them in jail, kind of like Peter Navarro or Steve Bannon or all the Jan 6 defendants or people praying outside abortion clinics who have gone to prison. They have done it. He did not. Trump did not do it the first time. Trump will not do it this time. But it's an amazing thing to watch. We've heard it for weeks now. Trump will imprison his enemies, go after the enemy from within. Rachel Maddow last night, this is, she's an icon to the left. She's their voice, their face, which is a little scary, but she goes on her show and says she's got an idea for Kamala Harris if she wins the White House. Why don't they shut down SpaceX? SpaceX, Elon Musk company, which has done amazing things. We've seen it. They're planning to go to Mars. They saved a couple of astronauts who were trapped up in space. It's just a great American company led by a great American, just the most accomplished entrepreneur of our time, the greatest innovator of our time. Here is the voice of the left saying what they will do. By the way, I don't know if it was the same segment. Maybe it was a different segment where they went on and on and on about how Trump's going to use the DOJ to go after his political enemies. But this is what they have planned if Kamala wins. Listen to this.
Even if Trump doesn't win, the Defense Department and NASA are going to need a new arrangement for all their rockets and for all the multi-billion-dollar contracts Elon Musk's companies have with the U.S. government. The U.S. government is going to have to either, unwind from all of those contracts, or Elon Musk's companies are going to have to unwind from him. This is an untenable reality in national security terms. Now that we know what we know about Elon Musk.
What we know about Elon Musk is he supports a candidate. One candidate, there's two candidates. He supports one, and he sure does make the case. He knows why he's supporting him. He knows they're the party of censorship. They're the party of illegal immigration. He used to support that party, but his eyes are wide open and he knows what they're up to. So he supports Trump. And Rachel Maddow says they need to unwind from SpaceX. SpaceX is doing amazing things. She doesn't care. He supports the other candidate. So the federal government should go after him. And by the way, the federal government is going to go after X, Twitter, the last bastion for free speech. Musk is the greatest champion of free speech in our lifetimes. Twitter is the only place that you can go uncensored and speak your mind, even if you don't agree with Elon Musk. He saves free speech, at least on one platform. We know what happened 4 years ago. Twitter worked with the federal government. The FBI paid Twitter millions to censor Americans, to censor opinions and views they disagreed with on behalf of the Biden campaign. That's what they did at Twitter, at Facebook, at Instagram. They did it at all the big tech companies. One big tech company no longer plays along, and they can't stand it. If you had any doubt that Kamala Harris will indeed do what she can to stop X, to censor X, Twitter, if she wins, she said it explicitly a couple of years ago. She said, yes, these companies are peddling misinformation, which means information they disagree with, and they will go after them. If you're voting for Kamala Harris today, you're voting for censorship. You're voting for the government to suppress the First Amendment rights of Americans. That will happen. It happened before, Musk. It happened in 2016. It happened in 2020. They just can't stand the fact that they haven't been able to do it in 2024. And you get ready, because they will do it immediately. They will do it in 2026 and 2028. We have Kamala talking about her effort, her view that these companies, big tech companies, must do more to suppress free speech.
And will put the Department of Justice of the United States back in the business of justice. We will double the Civil Rights Division and direct law enforcement to counter this extremism. We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms, because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable as a community.
There you go. She's going to go after, and Musk says they're going to try to put him in prison. I have no doubt. He is number one on the hit list, which is why you have to respect him so much. He knows what kind of gamble he's taking by supporting Trump against the machine, against this woman who just said she would use the DOJ. She will double the size of the Civil Rights Division, which means the administration that is right now suing Musk for not hiring illegal aliens, they will come up with anything and everything. They will go to war against Musk and anybody else who challenge them. That's who you're voting for. You're voting for this dark, this sinister blob that machine that supports her and all her efforts. You're voting for the deep state. You're voting for the swamp. That's what you're voting for if you vote for Kamala Harris. If you vote for Trump, you're the rebel. You're the renegade. Yes, if you vote for Trump, you're the outsider. You're the anti-establishment force in this election. You're the anti-war voter if you vote Trump. Anti-war, anti-establishment, anti-deep state. You're the rebel. You're the outsider. That's how things have unfolded. That's how the script has flipped. You vote for the Republican. You're voting against endless wars. You're voting against Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney and the 51 intelligence officials who lied about the laptop to protect Joe Biden. You're voting against all the bloated bureaucracy that wants to keep these wars going. You're voting against a $7 billion federal budget and the doubling of the Civil Rights Division. You think that's a good thing? You think that's going to help Americans? Please, you're voting for inflation. You're voting for the Green New Deal if you vote for Kamala Harris. Is that really what you want? You're voting for the war on fossil fuels and this climate insanity if you vote for Kamala Harris. That's where we are at this point. It is scary. All right. We got to get to Kamala knocking on doors. Yes, the final day of the campaign for her, for them, was as phony, as fake as anything we've seen. She was in Philadelphia, she was in Pennsylvania, spent the whole day, 4 rallies, 4 events, and one was just as incoherent as the next. They were just typical Kamala Harris rambling on about aspirations and dreams and threats to democracy and all these undefinable, obscure proclamations from this half-wit. And she went door to door, sorta. She's not even smart enough to do this, behind the scenes. She makes the plan with the homeowner to knock on their door, and she does it on camera. How pathetic is this? Yes, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to knock on your door, chubby white lady. So everyone will think, I surprised you when I knocked on your door to try to get your vote. Here she is planning the stunt and then going through with it. Go ahead.
Hey, Max. Well, I want a door knock.
Oh, you want to do a door knock?
Yeah, come on. Okay.
Here, I'm gonna have your hat on. The Penn State game in front of 111,000 people.
I want to do the door knock.
I want to do the door knock.
Guys, to the right.
It is? Yes, yeah.
Okay, chubby white lady, go inside, and then I'm going to pretend. And then she knocks on the door, and then, oh, it's Kamala. I understand that she can't just go on knock on random doors, but you don't make that plan. Someone else, first of all, makes the plan. Tells her, this lady,
that fall guy for sure. That's mistake.
Yeah, look at the beta male. Look at the big Tim Walz fan standing there going, whatever you say, honey.
He looks like blonde Dougie, doesn't he?
It is just a remarkable closing message for the Democrats right now. Here's what they've told you for the last 2 weeks. We've seen the ad where the woman goes in the voting booth and defies her husband, lies to her husband, and votes for Kamala and gives a wink and a nod to this other woman because, she's protecting women. They want you to vote. They want you to lie to your spouse. They want you to lie to your friends. That is just an incredible closing message. Vote for Kamala. Lie to everybody. Don't tell them. Don't be proud to vote for Kamala. Do it on the sly. Do it secretly. They're actually their final 2 weeks. That has been the theme. That's what their ads have told you. Don't tell anybody. Just secretly go in there and tell them you're voting for Trump. What how did we get to that point where you vote for a candidate and lie to all your friends and family? Don't admit it. Don't actually admit you're voting for Kamala. Do we have the latest ad from N Wokeness tweeted this out. They went with the women who lie to their husbands, and now they're going to the men who lie to their friends and vote Kamala. That's what they want you to think. You don't have to tell anyone that you support this moron, this pathetic, fake, phony candidate. You can still vote for her. Just don't have to admit it. Watch this.
Come on, boys. Let's make America great again. It's your turn, buddy.
Before you cast your vote in this election, think about how it'll impact the people you care about the most.
Daddy!
Remember, you can vote any way you want, and no one will ever know.
Do your patriotic duty.
You bet I did, brother. What happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Walls.
Has that ever happened in political history where one candidate, one campaign says, vote for us, just don't tell anyone you voted for
you're
us?
really ashamed to vote for us.
that is a theme. You can it'll really be embarrassing to admit you voted for us, so don't admit it, and do it so your daughters can abort your grandchildren. That's the theme. Do it secretly and do it so your daughters will be able to abort your grandchildren. That's the closing message of the Kamala Harris campaign. That's it. That's all they've got. That and dreams and aspirations. How did we get here? How did we get half the country who thinks this is the way to go? This is the person they want in the White House for at least 4 years. I mean, I'll ask again. If you want a woman to be president, I understand. It's going to be historic, the first woman. Don't you want a smart woman? Don't you want a capable woman? The woman you're supporting is an idiot. She's a moron. She's not fit for the job. You screwed up. You supported Joe Biden when he was senile. You had a chance to hold a primary. You had a chance to pick the best candidate, the most popular candidate. You blew it. You were riding with Biden, and you knew he was suffering from dementia. You knew he couldn't do it. You knew he was not capable. You were hoping to hide him, protect him, and make it to election day. You didn't. And then you couldn't force out the woman of color and pick the best candidate. You settled for her. You relied on the media to lie on your behalf, and they did their best. But I don't know, a month and a half ago, she had good numbers. She was leading. And then people got to know her. They heard from her. They looked at her and they said, she's just not smart enough. She can't do it. She's accomplished nothing. She even when she was in California, she was a radical lunatic who believes in just the most far left. She was the left of Bernie Sanders and Liz Warren. You were stuck with her, and you're just gaslighting the country and telling you this will be historic. Yes, it will be historic. We will have the dumbest commander-in-chief. We will have a woman completely and entirely unfit for the job, unfit for the office. And she will be representing our country on the world stage. That's what you want for 4 years? It's just mind-boggling. All right, we got to get to Rogan's endorsement. That's not all. There's a few other big endorsements for Donald Trump in the final minutes. He has the best team behind him right now. Even if you don't love Trump, you got to appreciate the team of rivals, the pirate ship who is supporting him. And you got to ask yourself, why? These are smart people. Why are they abandoning the Democrat Party, the Democrat candidate, and going with the evil orange man? Why? We'll get to that and more. But first.
Excuse me.
All right, small business owners, listen up. If you're tired of losing money to credit card processing fees, we've got something you need to hear. With 24/7 payments, you can eliminate up to 99% of those fees thanks to their fee elimination program. Here's how it works. You pass the processing fees on to customers who pay with credit cards, and in return, you can offer them a discount for paying with cash or debit. It's a simple, effective, and fully compliant way to save thousands every month. Right now, 24/7 Payments is switching over 250 businesses every month to this program, and they can have you set up in less than 24 hours. Call 855-504-0799 today or visit them on the web at 247payments.com. That's the numbers 247payments.com. All right, 0 days, Ironhead, 0. That's not a bad number, by the way. I was thinking 0. Who's 0? Lots of 0. Lots of NBA zeros. Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard. Pretty good number 0 here in Boston. Jason Tatum with the Patriots. Christian Gonzalez. A lot of zeros in the NFL right now. Why do people want to be number 0? My favorite 0 would be Jim Otto, former Oakland Raider. He picked 00 because of his name, Otto, O-T-T-O. And that was the olden days. But lots of good, decent number zeros out there. We are at 0 days, 0 hour, our last chance to save this country from 4 more years of DEI madness, of doubling the Civil Rights Division. You want that? You want boys and girls sports, boys and girls locker rooms, boys beating the shit out of women in the Olympics and stealing their gold medals? You want that for your daughters, for your sisters, for your mothers? You want that invasion of their space? You want more sex change surgeries for little girls, mastectomies, double mastectomies for little girls? Because that's what Tim Walz and Kamala Harris support 100%. You want 4 more years of that? Scary. All right, we are down to the final minutes, the final moments, the final hours of this election. And I've listed for months just one example after another of why Kamala Harris should be disqualified. Literally, just not qualified for the office. The one moment that I just can't get past, I will never get past. She was running for president. She was still in the race 5 years ago, after the George Floyd riots, immediately after George Floyd OD'd while resisting arrest in Minneapolis, and they started burning the city to the ground, assaulting cops, setting fires, burning a police station to the ground, just destroying neighborhoods, destroying lives. We all lived through it. What happened when Kamala Harris was, while campaigning, went on with Stephen Colbert? And this gets mentioned now and again, but this should be, everybody should keep this in mind when they go to the polls. The woman who wants to be president said the rioters, violent rioters, aren't going to stop, and they shouldn't stop. Even Colbert was like, what? They shouldn't stop? The city's on fire. Violence is breaking out all over the country. And a former DA, a former attorney general, said the criminals should keep on going. Watch this.
In cahoots with Waltz even back then.
Right. And Waltz called off the National Guard, ordered them to abandon the precinct. Waltz is just, he's as bad as she is. These are two radicals, pro-mob, pro-violence. That's who they are. They have been lying to you for 3 months now, but they can't run from this forever. Here was Kamala Harris while the fires were burning.
That's right. But they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And this is a movement. I'm telling you, they're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that they're not going to let up, and they should not. And we should.
They're not going to let up, and they should not. They should not stop burning, looting, rioting. We're going to see that tomorrow. If Trump wins tonight, and It probably won't be declared tonight. But if Trump wins tonight, there's only one reason they're boarding up buildings in D.C. and other cities. One reason, because Trump might win. And if Trump wins, her foot soldiers will take to the streets, set fires, break windows, assault cops. And the woman who wants to be president said they should not stop. They should not stop. What? Who supports that? Who agrees with that? Other than a BLM radical, other than the pro-Hamas radicals marching in the streets, who thinks rioters, violent rioters, should not stop? That's disqualifying. A president wants criminals who are destroying lives and destroying people's lives in inner cities. She wants them to keep on going, keep on burning, keep on looting. That's how she really felt. That's her being honest, by the way, before all her handlers got a hold of her and tried to remake her. That's who she is right there. And this is who she is at a rally yesterday. Let's vote Trump and end the cringe. She can't make an appearance. She can't make a speech without just making everybody in the room cringe. Here she is trying to rally the troops yesterday.
The vote. Let's get out 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 the vote. Let's win.
Oh my God.
What the hell? I mean, and the crowd is going, what? What? Huh? Where? All right, that's her closing message right there.
You could call that a crowd.
In front of like 200 people at a high school gym. Let's get out the vote. Let's get out the vote. Again, you don't have to like Trump. You don't have to think he's a nice man. You're not voting for a friend. You're not voting for a neighbor. You're voting for someone to fix the mess that this person has put us in. You're voting for someone to close the border. You're voting for someone to stop inflation. You're voting for someone to keep us out of stupid foreign wars. You're voting for the best surgeon, the best auto mechanic, the best plumber. You're voting for someone who can do the job and do it well. You're not voting for someone to hang out with, have a beer with. That's absurd. That doesn't matter. What matters is who can do the job. And you can't make the case for her. You can't make the case for her on policy. You can't make the case for her on experience. We've seen her in office as vice president. We've seen him in office as president. There is no comparison. One person wants to make America great, put America first, save America, help America, keep us out of wars, stop the invasion at the border. And the other one is just the opposite. There is no choice here. You have no choice. Vote to save this country. Can we do this final closing ad? Because the Trump campaign has done a magnificent job in the last couple of weeks with the ads. They have a good team. They're killing it. While the Harris team is out there spending their money convincing people to lie to their spouses and their friends about who they're voting for, the Trump team is making it clear they're going to do what's right by you, by Americans, not by illegal aliens, not by Zelensky. They're going to do what's right for you, for Americans. This ad was amazing. There's been a lot of good ones. The RFK team, Nicole Shanahan, they are really good at this. This is the best closing ad I think I've ever seen. And before we go, let's watch.
Did he make his final rally already? Was that last night?
That was it. That was it in Grand Rapids, Michigan, as he did in 2016 and 2020. He finished out the campaign in Grand Rapids, Michigan at 12:12 this morning. So, he'll certainly be somewhere today and out rallying the troops again today, but his last rally was last night in Michigan. But this is his, I think, last big ad, and it's so good.
What will we do with this moment? How will we be remembered? Look at the opportunities before us.
This election really isn't about the left versus the right. It's about we, the people, choosing our government and the choice between freedom versus tyranny.
Love tells.
Nobody has a chronic disease burden like we have. Why are we allowing this to happen to our children? Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
What is going on here is deeper than politics. It is deeply spiritual. We are being called to rise above the hatred and the fear and the evil.
We need to remember above and beyond that we must love our neighbors, that we must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing.
Don't you want healthy children? Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
I come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again.
You know what? It is a great final message. Do you hate Trump more than you love the country? Do you, simple as that, do you hate him more than you love the country? Do you hate him so much that you'll vote for 4 more years of what would you live through? You hate him so much that you will vote for someone who is completely and entirely unfit, incapable of doing the job. You will risk that. You will take that kind of risk with your country because you hate Trump? Really? Almost everyone in that video, in that ad, are former Democrats who have woken up and said, we can't take that risk.
Including Trump.
Including Trump, right? Trump, RFK. RFK, by the way, they want you to think he's a crazy man. Don't let him in the Department of Health and Human Services. Let's leave it to Rachel Levine. We want stable people like Rachel Levine. God help us. God help us. You can't hate that man more than you love the country. That man was president for 4 years. He didn't do any of the things they're accusing him of. We need him for 4 more years. We need that. The country needs that. Vote Trump. Get out there now. Wait in line. Do whatever it takes. Vote Trump. Save this freaking country. We have no choice. All right, that will do it for this morning. We're going to be back tonight if things go, hopefully, go cleanly, go smoothly, and Trump prevails, or if she does. If we have an answer, if we have a winner, we'll be back later tonight right here on Free Speech Rumble and everywhere else. Big day, huge day. I feel like we say this a lot, the most important election of our lifetime. It is. Get out and vote. Wait in line. Do whatever you can do. Do what it takes. Vote Trump. Save this freaking, save us from the madness of just the thought of 4 years of Kamala Harris. It is scary, people. Don't take any chances. Don't risk it. Vote Trump. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show, and hopefully we'll do it again tonight.
But I'm going to go to bed.